Well, today I have the opportunity to sit down with Dr. Christopher Oermann, who is our Division Director of Allergy, Immunology, Pulmonology, and Sleep Medicine. Many important specialties here at Children's Mercy. And we're going to take the opportunity to talk about some of the areas of emphasis and achievements that have helped us to achieve the rankings that we've been talking about with U.S. News and World Report. Dr. Oermann, I'm grateful that you've taken the time to join me here today. I know you're very busy, but we appreciate the time.
Happy to be with you and appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about the division.
Absolutely. I know you would be the first to say, and at Children's Mercy, we always talk about the importance of team. And this is a team sport in children's healthcare, and so many members of our team contribute to creating the best possible outcomes and care for the kids that we serve. So talk about the role that your team in the division have played in helping us to achieve these great accomplishments within the various divisions and programs.
Yeah, team is obviously very important, and we're all familiar with the expression, it takes a village to raise a child. And in truth, it takes a team to provide high quality, child-centric, holistic care for those kids that we serve. So team is absolutely something that we take seriously every day and try and live every day within the division. We've got a big team. We have physicians and nurses and social workers, dietitians, pharmacists, research coordinators, as well as all kinds of other ancillary healthcare professionals. And each and every one of them is valued as part of the team and contribute specific services that only they can contribute. And it's this teamwork and approach to care that really makes the total more than the sum of the parts.
Absolutely. And Dr. Oermann, what you're bringing up is one of our 5 values here at Children's Mercy, which is team. And I love your reference to the whole being greater than the sum of the individual parts. I use that line all the time, and I think it's so indicative of our culture here, in that we will never lose sight of how we care for the individual child during that episode of care. But it's not just great medical care, it's the psychosocial aspects of the care that we provide and the total team approach. And I think you and your programs and your leadership have helped to create that inter and multidisciplinary team impact that's so important for us. You know, one of the things that we talk a lot about and is an important priority for us here at Children's Mercy is to reduce health disparities, create more equity within healthcare, and take a much more inclusive and diverse approach to how we provide care here at Children's Mercy. Talk about the importance of DEI, inclusion, health equity, and disparities within the Pulmonary, Allergy, Immunology, Sleep Medicine division.
Yeah, DEI is more than just a topic of conversation. It's something that we truly believe in and live every day that we're at work. We have a large, diverse faculty, including men and women from multiple ethnic backgrounds. And I think that's important for the division as a whole, as well as for patients. Some of the most common diseases that we take care of, asthma, for example, is much more common among Black, Hispanic, and other populations. Same can be said for sickle cell disease and other specific lung disorders that we take care of. And it's important that the kids that we provide care for that have those disorders have healthcare providers that look like them. And I think we've done a very good job of recruiting across the spectrum and trying to do the best we can, making sure that we are diverse and inclusive.
That is fantastic. It's so important. You know, in our strategic plan, one of our pillars is called community impact. And one of the most important priorities within those pillars is to never lose sight of how we care for that individual child, but we also have an obligation to lift the quality of life and the health status of populations that we serve and communities that we serve, especially where children are most vulnerable. And I think you're role modeling those activities within your division, so thank you for that. When you look at the accomplishments that the team has achieved and the division has achieved, what comes to mind as some of the most noteworthy?
There are a lot of things that our team has accomplished, not just in the past year, but certainly over the history of the division. One of the things that comes to mind is our Cystic Fibrosis Care Center. We've got one of the larger pediatric care centers in the country that is accredited by the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, which is a national not-for-profit organization that manages all things cystic fibrosis in the United States. And we've got, again, a big care center. We take care of around 250 kids with cystic fibrosis. But we also have a big research enterprise. So both of those together have really done some amazing things in the last several years. We've participated in a lot of clinical research trials that have led to new drugs being brought to the market that have had a huge impact on the lives of children. And we've also provided great, outstanding clinical care for these kids and are consistently ranked in the upper quartile of CF centers around the country as far as outcomes. So that's certainly something that we're proud of and has had a huge impact on the lives of these kids that we serve. Another really significant thing that we've accomplished in the last few years is the development of our Children's Mercy Sleep Center under the leadership of Dr. Baha Al-Shawah, who's one of my colleagues in the division. We've more than tripled the size of our sleep laboratory, making it one of the largest pediatric sleep laboratories in the country. Our sleep physicians are doing research, quality improvement, the entire gamut of academic pediatric sleep medicine, and have just made huge progress over the last several years. I think all of the multidisciplinary clinics as well as general clinics that we do are important. We have probably a dozen or so multidisciplinary clinics looking at very specific populations with specific disorders, and without those very specialized clinics, we wouldn't be able to provide the outstanding healthcare that we do.
No question about it. And certainly when the pandemic hit, our telemedicine program, which was strong to begin with, literally went into hyperspace overnight.
Exactly.
And was instrumental in continuing to provide access for kids who needed that care. I want to go back to research for a moment. One of the things as we sit here in our Children's Mercy Research Institute, I recall that I believe last year we had about 27 clinical trials going on within the Pulmonology division. Tell us about some of the most significant advancements that have resulted from those trials.
Yeah, again, we've had a long-standing history of scholarly activity and research within the division. Our cystic fibrosis program is probably the largest and most diverse. And long ago, we partnered with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and joined what's called the Therapeutics Development Network, which is a nationwide organization that engages in phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials. And we've participated in several of the drug development trials or programs that the Therapeutics Development Network has undertaken, and have consistently been among the top performing CF care centers in that network. We've also got a lot going on in sleep and asthma. Asthma is the most common chronic disease among children, and we've got several investigators who are engaged in both local projects as well as parts of national asthma research consortium.
When you think about the next 5 to 10 years, what are some of the opportunities and challenges that you think we're going to be facing and you will face specifically within pulmonology and the related specialties?
Workforce, as we talked about, is certainly going to be a challenge, and not just in respect to physicians to see the patients. It's nursing, it's respiratory therapy, it's social work, it's dietitians, it's lab techs, it's across the board in healthcare where everybody is struggling to find people to do the work. And it's going to continue to be a struggle for a while, I think. But we're doing what we can to adapt to that, and we're hopefully developing some resiliency that's going to see us through some of those difficult periods.
So Dr. Oermann, really one last question for you is, one of the hallmarks of our culture is storytelling. The ways that we have impacted the lives of children and families in bringing our mission to life and bringing the great capabilities within your division to life in real humanistic ways. We call those connections to purpose. We start so many of our meetings and forums off with patient stories. Does anything come to mind, a story that you'd like to share about the impact that we've made on the children that you and your team have cared for?
But there are a couple things that I guess I could relate. One is that we always put families and children at the forefront of what we do. And I'm going to brag a little bit that our cystic fibrosis care team just recently received a True North Pillar Award for patient advocacy. And I am just so incredibly proud of that award. Number one, it's a team sport.
Yes.
So this recognizes not just the work that the physicians in the division are doing, it's the entire team. And I think that's incredibly important.
That's a fantastic accomplishment. Well, Dr. Christopher Oermann, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm thankful for your leadership. Congratulations on the great accomplishments that you and your teammates have achieved here at Children's Mercy. The future is bright. Thanks for joining in, and thanks to all of you for joining in today. Have a wonderful day.